Hi, welcome to Dwayne's Guitar Lessons. I'm instructor Dwayne Jenkins. In today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about the modes. Okay, I have one of my subscribers, Mike Miller, asked me to make a video on that, so I decided I would. Right now, we are discussing Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 1, and the modes that I'll be working with those more in depth in my second book, Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 2. And the reason why I didn't put those in the first book is because I think it's very important to get the fundamentals of lead guitar playing down first, which I would recommend you start with knowing your pentatonic scales. So that's what we're going to be looking at in this series. But since he asked me this about the modes, I thought I would just kind of put a quick little video for you about that. Okay, so if you're wondering about the modes, stay tuned and I'll tell you a little bit about them.
Audio Jungle.
Okay, so the modes. The modes are just basically scales based off our major scale, okay? They're kind of like the pentatonics, but they're based off of our major scale. Now, in the video I did, let's see, a couple of videos ago, I did a video about our major scale, okay? And that's in Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 1. And I talked to you about learning your major scale across the fretboard, along the fretboard as well as across the fretboard, okay? Now let's just say, for example, we were going to do a G major scale, okay? And we would start here at the 3rd fret, that would be our Do. We go to the 5th fret, that would be our Re. We go to the 7th fret, that would be our Mi, Do, Re, Mi. Our 8th fret would be the Fa. 10th fret would be So, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So, yes, So. So, and then our La would be at the 12th fret, T would be at the 14th fret, and back to Do on the 15th fret, which is back to your G. So we just did a whole scale of the G major scale from G to G. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. And what you want to do is learn that secret formula that I mentioned to you in that other video. And I'll leave a link below in case you missed that video, okay? You want to make sure that you master that major formula, that whole step, half step formula. Because if you do, then that's going to help you with all your other scales, your minor scales and all that other stuff, okay? So make sure that you know that. If you don't know that, I would highly recommend check out that video, okay? Because once you do that, it's going to open up a lot of mystery on the fretboard. Okay, and you're going to be able to find any major scale on the fretboard anywhere. Minor scales too. Okay, it doesn't really matter. All right. So once again with the modes. Now I'm not going to go into massive detail about this. I'm just going to give you an example of what we're going to be looking at later in the future when I get to this point in the second book. Okay, but I just wanted to give Mike. You asked me about this. I just want to give you this kind of quick tutorial here. All right. So what it is basically you have 7 of these scales, okay? And the reason why is because you have 7 notes to the major scale. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, and then Do again, okay? And these modes are based off of each one of these notes, these tones to the major scale. Like for instance, the first one's the Ionian, the Dorian, the Phrygian, the Lydian, the Mixolydian, the Aeolian, the Locrian, and then back to the Ionian again, okay? That's how they work, and they're just basically, and the difference between these is they're like 3-note scales instead of 2-note scales like the pentatonics, okay? And that's why I wanted to put those in Volume 2, because they're a little bit more advanced, okay? And I would highly recommend keep up with your, if you're looking at the Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 1, if you haven't got that, I would highly recommend you get it because it's going to show you the fundamentals of playing lead guitar, okay? And don't skip the fundamentals. I'm telling you, don't do that. I come across a lot of students who, they want to learn stuff, they come to me, they want to learn certain things, and it's hard to teach it to them because they skip their fundamentals. Don't do that. Your fundamentals are going to be the foundation of your learning. So you've got to do that, okay? I would highly recommend if you want to learn the modes, you can get a book on that or learn that and stuff, but don't overlook the pentatonic scales. Those are the fundamentals of playing lead guitar, okay? Now, once again, like I was saying with the modes, you got 7 of them because they're based off of each one of these tones, okay? And then you would be back to the Ionian again, okay? So you're like for instance, your Ionian mode. which is basically your major scale that I showed you in that other video, but we're just going to add one more note right here on the 5th fret. So that Ionian mode, that's your Ionian mode right there. You know, then you're going to have your Dorian mode, your Phrygian mode, your Lydian mode, your Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, so forth, okay? This is your Locrian mode. And you can see that that major scale resides in those, that major scale resides in that mode, okay? You can hear it. Right, there's your major scale, then we do it again. Oops. Okay, so you can tell that's a major scale mode because it has that major scale in there. And they connect just like the pentatonics, okay? They just have 3 notes instead of 2 that the pentatonics have. But they're the same concept, you know? And by having that 3rd note in there, it allows you to do some, you know, some different types of things, some different types of sounds that you can get out of the fretboard, okay? And like I said, when I get done writing Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 2, which is what I'm working on, I'll explain that more in further detail, okay? But if you're wondering about the modes, what they are, they're just basically 7 scales, and actually you could break them down into 5 because 2 of them are pretty much the same as the other one, but they just have like a 1 note difference, okay? But they're basically scales that are based off of the tones of your major scale, okay? So if you learn that major scale very well, that formula that I taught you, that whole step, half step formula, that secret formula, okay, you're going to be able to find these modes on the fretboard really, really easy, okay? Because you're going to know the intervals, and what is the interval again? The distance between 2 notes, okay? So you're going to be able to find out where those modes reside as long as you know what where that major scale is, the intervals of that major scale on the fretboard, okay? So that's basically what we're just going to talk about today, just real simple stuff. I didn't want to go into major detail until I get to that point, okay? So we're still working on Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 1, the fundamentals of playing lead guitar, and in my next video we're going to talk about the next chapter, which is about your personality licks. Those are your hammer-ons, pull-off slides. You got to know that stuff. That's what we're going to be working on next. But I did want to put this video out there just to kind of for Mike and say that's how the modes work, okay? They're just scales like your pentatonics, but they're based off the major scale, okay? That's what they're based off. So make sure you know that formula, because if you don't know that formula, you're not going to be able to find out where those modes are located, okay? All right? So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. Make sure you practice your alternate picking, because that's what I was teaching in our last lesson, was the alternate picking. Excuse me. And because that's how you get those fast licks, okay? You can't play them with just down picking. You've got to get the alternate picking down. So work on that, okay? And then your tremolo picking, which is really fast alternate picking. And then once you get your personality licks down, your hammer-ons, pull-off slides, stuff like that, that's when it really brings, and I call them personality licks because that's what brings the scale to life, okay? And without those, you're just going, you know, that's not that exciting. But if you add those personality licks in there, the hammer-ons, pull-off slides, bends, all that, then it starts to become really cool, you know? Some vibrato, little whammy bar action. And we'll work on that in our next video, all right? So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. You be sure to have yourself a good one. Be sure to check out my website at dwaynesguitarlessons.com. Join my email club. Check out my eBay store at Dwayne's Guitar World. Got a lot of good stuff there. And I will see you at our next lesson. Thanks for watching and take care.